Business Channel for business class programming.
Broadway Malyan is an international design practice that was founded over 50 years ago by Cyril Broadway and John Malyan. We have since expanded globally with over 12 offices around the world with over 500 staff that is actually spanning the disciplines of master planning, landscape architecture, interior design, graphic design, branding design, regeneration consultancy, and research development and environmental consultancy. What this allows us to do is be perfectly positioned to be able to address design at the macro scale of a city, down to the micro scale of an interior, or even to the marketing brochure. Energy efficiency is incredibly important to our clients because it is the energy efficiency that is essentially the bill at the end of the month. What we're finding is an increasing importance to be able to reduce the reliance on artificial light and artificial ventilation, not just to be able to address the rising energy costs, but also to try and ensure that there is a better socio-physiological and psychological environment for people to be living, working or playing in. I think there is a great body of research that has highlighted the particular socio-physiological and psychological ill effects of artificially controlled environments. And as sustainability is core to our business, the understanding of how we can be sort of creating design solutions, be that in residential or in the workplace or in the retail environment, for instance, that actually capitalizes on the inclusion of natural light and natural ventilation, and also more objective evidence-based means, for example, the application of the light and thermal method. All of this provides a great opportunity for us to be looking to reduce energy consumption and therefore obviously imply greater energy efficiency. We do work in the public sector, and obviously with governmental legislation being such to promote and enhance the urban habitat through the green agenda, we have been actively involved with a number of hospital and school projects that are perfect platforms for the public sector to demonstrate their commitment to the green agenda. Examples of which are evident in Singapore. The National Heart Centre is going to be a low-carbon heart specialist centre, which is due for completion in the next couple of years. What this is demonstrating is the importance of putting a green face to public sector works. The building itself is made up of a series of social spaces that step up throughout the building that provides a greater opportunity for the community to engage with what has historically been a rather sort of unfriendly and unwelcoming environment. The Idea House is quite an interesting project in that even though it's kind of a micro-scale project, it almost perfectly summarizes our approach to creating a sustainable solution. In terms of the actual tectonics of being able to put this together, the Idea House is perfectly positioned to demonstrate it. Starting point for any sustainable design is obviously understanding your site condition. So a significant amount of climatic research was undertaken to understand the humidity levels, which are at 80 to 85%, the temperatures of the site, which were ranging between 24 and 32 degrees centigrade, the flow of air and the wind direction, which was predominantly southwesterly, northeasterly, at wind speeds of 0.6 meters to 1.2 meters per second were registered. The understanding also of the topographics of the place, the various undulations, was also quite important because obviously one of the issues is trying to ensure that we're not sort of digging into the ground too much. We wanted to try and keep it as site sensitive as possible in order to preserve the site for future generations. We were able to do this by ensuring that the building was completely modular. We could basically construct this within 8 weeks, and if we wanted to dismantle, we could do so, thus preserving the site for future generations. The building was orientated, presenting the shorter faces to the east and west elevations to minimize solar heat gain to those facades and thus reduce any chances of significant energy consumption through greater cooling loads. The whole ethos is culturally sensitive. So as we address the socioeconomic, environmental, we're also looking at the cultural intricacies, and what we wanted to try and do was reinterpret the Malay kampong tradition. So whilst the building looks very modern, it actually has all of the socio-cultural intricacies of the Malay traditional house. Technologically, it has photovoltaic cells that generates 17,000 kilowatt hours of energy per year, which is more than enough to sustain a family of 5. Grey water and rainwater harvesting means that we have a 98% water efficiency, which means that we do not become reliant on drawing water from the tap. Only 2% is drawn from the mains, which is just the drinking water. And finally, the ability to be able to expand and contract the house according to the size of the family. So you may move in on day one and it'll be a house for 2 people, but as they have children, additional floor cassettes could be dropped into voids, which are essentially gallery spaces, but with the increasing numbers of individuals living in the house can internally expand. What this means is that we're not compromising the external fabric of the building and therefore its airtightness if we are closing the windows and the doors. So we're ensuring that the cladding and the envelope is maximised in terms of thermal performance. Our company's approach to developing a sustainable solution for clients is very much about understanding that one can only deliver a sustainable product unless there is a sustainable process in place. What that means is that we're able to harness our interdisciplinary approach to design. I say interdisciplinary and not multidisciplinary. It's all fine and well having a range of different design professionals in an office, but it's the ability to be able to communicate and collaborate that is quite key. It's the ability to balance the more objective, evidence-based science with the more subjective, intuitive green assessment methods that allows us to create very, very effective sustainable designs either at the city scale or to the micro scale of architecture or interiors. Environmental rating systems are very good tools and act as prompts for thinking in being able to deliver sustainable solutions. We've seen a plethora of assessment methods that have been created over the last 20 years. This have actually sort of gone across the globe from your BREEAM in the UK to LEED in the US to CASPI in Japan through to Green Mark in Singapore to Green Star in Australia. We're in a very fortunate position being a global design practice covering all of the major sort of disciplines and sectors to be able to understand what the green agenda means to each individual discipline, be it master planning, architectural, interiors, or sector, being residential, workplace, retail.
The Business Channel for business class programming.